Hey guys, in this lesson we are going to multiply polynomial expressions and some review things that we need to discuss is to distribute the monomial. You need to distribute the monomial to each term inside the polynomial. Something else to review is the product rule. It's x to the a times x to the b is equal to the x to the a plus b. All you're doing is adding those exponents. So to review distribution, you're going to take anything that's on the outside and multiply it to everything that's on the inside. So what we do is we draw these arrows to show that we're multiplying. And what that is x, those arrows represent this, x times x, which is x squared. And then that arrow times this, and remember the sign goes with it, so that's a positive 4. X times positive 4, which is 4x. Now I can't put those together because they're not like terms, so that is my final answer. Moving on, there is a typo here, so you need to change that m to an x. That's my x. So on this one, we're going to take 5x cubed times 3x squared. And 5 times 3 is 15. And then x cubed times x squared, you're going to add those exponents together. 3 plus 2 is 5. Then we're going to take this next one and go to this one. And remember, there's an understood 1 right here. So we have 5x cubed times negative 1x. And 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. And then we have an x. There's 3 out here and 1 inside. So 3 plus 1 is 4. And then the last but not least is 5x cubed times this negative 7. Remember, the sign goes with that 7. So 5 times negative 7 is negative 35x cubed. Notice that it is in standard form. If it was not in standard form, then we would need to rewrite it, but it goes down in order according to the exponents 5, 4, 3. So we're good to go on that. Let's go ahead and look at the first problem here. And instead of writing out all of this pink stuff, I'm just going to draw my arrows so you can see that. I've got 3x to the 5th times negative 2x and 3 times negative 2x, 3x to the 5th. Actually, I'm going to write it out instead so you can see it, times negative 2x. And then I'm going to do 3x to the 5th times negative 5. Now, you don't have to write the stuff that's in pink here. That's what I'm saying. But you do have to write the stuff that's in green because it's your final answer. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. X to the 5th times x to the 1st is going to be x to the 6th. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15, and there's only x to the 5th there. Again, that's in standard order, so we're good. Let's go ahead and do this one. Number 2, we have x times x squared, which is x cubed. X times negative 1x is negative 1x squared. And then x times a positive 3 is a positive 3x. Again, it's standard order, so it is good to go. Number 3, we have negative 2x to the 4th times 6x squared. So I'm going to go ahead and write that out because we have a coefficient in front, so it's easier for us to talk about and to see. Negative 2x to the 4th times 6x squared. And that's negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. X. 4 plus 2 is 6. That was the first one. The second one is going to be negative 2x to the 4th times negative 12x. Negative 2 times negative 12 is a positive 24. And we have 1x here and 4x's here. So 4 plus 1 is 5x's. And then the last but not least is negative 2x to the 4th times 18. And it's a positive 18 when we go there. So negative 2 times 18 is negative 36, x to the 4th. Again, it's in descending order, so we're good to go. We don't have to reorder anything. On number 4, we have 3xy times x squared. So we have 3 times, we have x, this is x to the 1st times x squared. 1 plus 2 is 3. And then we have a y, and it doesn't have any friends to partner with, so it just comes down. Then we have 3xy times xy. That gives me a positive 3. There's 2 x's, and there's 2 y's. And then last but not least is the 3xy times y squared. And 3 times, well, there's only a 3, so it's 3 times 1 is 3. X, there's not another x, but there are a couple y's here. So 1y plus 2 y's is 3 y's. Now, this has to go in alphabetical order first, so the x's come first. So we're paying attention to the x's exponents. 3, 2, 1. That goes in descending order, so we are good in standard form. We don't have to reorder anything. Number 5. We have 2y times 6x. And that gives me 12. And it needs to go in alphabetical order. So the x comes first. So xy. And then we have 2y times negative 4 x squared y. So 2 times negative 4 is negative 8 x squared, because there was nothing else, no other x's, but there are a couple of y's. There's one y here and one y here. That makes 2 y's. And then this stuff does not get multiplied because it's not inside the parenthesis. So we just have to drop down our plus sign, 13x squared y squared minus 6. Now we need to look at it and see if there's any like terms. And in our case, there are some like terms, so we need to put them together. There's 8x squared y squared and 13x squared y squared. That's going to be our first term because it's got the highest exponent. And when you put together negative 8 plus 13, that gives you 5x squared y squared. The next highest exponent is a 1, so that makes it positive 12xy minus 6. That's in standard form. We had to rewrite that one to make it in standard form. And now it is in standard form, so you're good to go on to the next problem. Number 6, the first thing that we're going to do is to distribute. And if you look at this one, you're going to distribute this -2 to this binomial. And then we're going to distribute this 3x, this positive 3x, to this trinomial. So we've got two distributions going on in this problem. -2 times 3x cubed is -2 times 3x cubed. And then we have -2 times 6. So -2 times 3x cubed is -6x cubed. And -2 times 6 is -12. Now we have a positive 3x times 2x squared. So 3 times 2 is a positive 6x. And there's 2 here and 1 here, so 2 plus 1 is 3. 3x times 3x is 9x. And there's 2 x's, so that's going to be squared. And then we have 3x times 1. So 3x times 1 is a positive 3x. Now we're looking for like terms. We have -6x cubed and positive 6x cubed for the first set of like terms, and actually the only set of like terms. -6 plus 6, they cancel each other out, so we don't write them at all. We just mark them out. The next highest exponent is a 2, so we're going to write that down first, 9x squared. Then the exponent of a 1, so plus 3x, and then the constant, -12. So that's standard form. That's the final answer to this problem. The last problem is finding the area of a trapezoid, and we gave you the formula for it. It's half the height times the quantity base 1 plus base 2. So we're going to start there. Area equals 1/2 the height. The height is right here where it's pointing right here and where it forms the 90-degree angle. So that is 4x squared. And then the bases, it doesn't matter which one comes first. I'm going to just do this one. 8x squared plus 3x. And then we're adding the second base. So plus 2x cubed minus x. Now, I'm going to go ahead and multiply half times 4x squared. Half of 4 is 2x squared. And then I'm going to combine my like terms, if possible. And my like terms inside this polynomial is 3x and -x. And then I'm going to also put it in standard form when I rewrite it here. So I've got 2x cubed is the highest exponent. The next highest exponent is a 2, so plus 8x squared. And then 3 minus 1 is a positive 2x. Now you're going to take and distribute this 2x squared by everything. So 2x squared times 2x cubed. 2 times 2 is 4x. There's 2 here and 3 here. That makes 5. 2 times 8x squared is 16. 2 times 8 is 16. There's 2 x's here and 2 x's here, so that makes 4 x's. And then last but not least is 2x squared times 2x. So that gives me 4x, and there's two x's here and one x there, so that makes 3.